Ladies. Thanks so much for joining me this afternoon. It's super nice to see you both. Just for those who are going to watch this video later, by way of introduction, I'm Jess, Head of Admissions at CodeSpace Academy, and I'm joined this afternoon by Masecha and Mamachadi, who are two Digiata Scholarship recipients who are currently studying with us at CodeSpace. Masecho is part of our part-time cohort, and Mamachadi is part of our full-time cohort. And yeah, we're going to just spend a bit of time this afternoon chatting about their experience at CodeSpace and some tips and advice for any prospective students. So, Masecho, do you want to just introduce yourself briefly, maybe, yeah, just a little bit about yourself, kind of pre-CodeSpace?
Yes, so my name is Masejo and I am originally from Northwestern Mafikeng. So prior to CodeSpace, I used to live in Gauteng. I worked a telecoms job actually in the operations department, but there was so much of a ceiling and I've always wanted to go back into studying because prior to that, I was a student studying quantity surveying, but due to like financial constraints and just not being able to take up that course part-time as it's only offered full time, I I had to like try and decide what I wanted with my life. And I was stuck at that job. I decided to move back home and apply for the scholarship. And yeah, so that's how I ended up here at CodeSpace.
Hello, my name is Mahadi Letsela. I'm 24 years old. I am originally from Marble Hall in Limpopo. I still live there. I joined CodeSpace because I was in my third year of accounting at UJ, and then I was supposed to go back for my final year, but then like everything was all sorted, finances, and then at the last minute there were a few changes that meant that I could not go back. So it was like I was looking down, either sitting down for the entire year, not having anything to do, 2025. And then I have a friend that's a software developer, and she told me to, apply for these coding courses. There were a bunch that she sent me. And she was like, you know what, just apply for these, get your feet wet, see where you can land. And CodeSpace was one of the courses that I applied for. And then I took the test, I applied for the Digiata Scholarship. I was really interested in CodeSpace because it had the scholarship. So it meant I wouldn't have to pay because a few of the others, the fees were looking very, ooh. So I was like, okay, let me look for one that has a scholarship. And that's why ultimately I decided on a CodeSpace.
Brilliant. Well, we are so happy that both of you could join us. And yeah, again, like congrats on getting the scholarship. I think you both were very well deserving. So let's get into it. So Masejo, you are almost 2 months into the program now, and Mahadi, you're almost 4 months, or you've just completed your fourth month. So yeah, how has the journey been for you so far? Mahadi, should we start with you?
No problem. It has definitely been gratifying and intense at the same time. It's definitely a lot of work, and it's sometimes frustrating. But seeing my work, like submitting my work every week and knowing that I'm progressing, moving forward, is definitely very rewarding. For someone who did not know the first thing about coding, it can be a lot sometimes, but then you're able to adapt. You're able to see it. It's very doable. You're there's a lot of resources. There's a lot of help. You can ask questions. So yeah, it's been rewarding.
Awesome.
Yes, so I'm 2 months into studying with CodeSpace, and all I can say is it's been intense. It's been intense, but the support is there. I think the intensity, as much as the course is like new concepts and everything else in between, personally, I've also just had an intense ride. That's why I had to go from full time to part time because I was supposed to start with Mahadi and the other students, but then I had to go on to a part-time course, and the support has been very great as well because I was afraid that I was going to lose my scholarship. But luckily enough, Digiata allowed me to join as a part-time student. So what Mahadi is saying, I can only emphasize on that it's very rewarding. Prior to joining CodeSpace, I used to be someone who would get easily frustrated for not making progress, especially when I had to drop out in school. I had confidence issues, and I also had just issues generally believing that good things are going to happen to me, or that I have the ability or the brain cells to even try a new concept or learn something new. But with CodeSpace, I've learned to pace myself. I've literally learned that there's no amount of preparation you can do. The only thing that you
Mm,
can do is actually start. Try something,
mm,
try it until you get it right.
mm,
No, that's awesome from both of you. And Makati, we heard a little bit about Masejo's background prior to joining CodeSpace. You mentioned your studies. Did you have any
mhm.
work experience background before joining CodeSpace?
Yes, I was an administrative assistant for about a year and a half, I think. Yeah, a year and a half.
Okay, and we're just interested to hear from both of you, kind of how do you think that work background has helped you prepare for this program in any way?
Okay. I think it's definitely helped me with balance, making sure that even if I have a million things to complete, I have a million things to remember, but making sure that I'm on top of it, making sure that whatever I need to do, whether I have to write myself a million notes or emails, whatever it is that I have to do, but it's definitely helped me with balance, making sure that I can keep on top of my projects, the portfolio pieces, the whatever it is that's due every week, and making sure that also I actually understand the content, not just because I think prior to the my work experience, I definitely used to go through studying mostly, especially first year and second year. I used to go through studying as some like I just used to skim it, just not really going deep into it, and then complaining when I don't really understand. But it's definitely helped me with that, making sure that you actually have to do the work and actually understand what it is you're doing and not just going through the motions.
Yeah, I resonate with that. I think if I had to study now, post having a career and working, I would approach it so differently. Maseko, any thoughts on this topic
Same.
from you?
Yeah.
Well, my work experience, so before the telecoms company, I worked in insurance as well. So I had a lot of client facing or customer support background. So a lot of communicating via email, via phone. So I think what that has helped me with is just I'm really sharpening my communication skills, and I'm really also honing in on whatever skills I do have in terms of communicating. And I think it has set me up to also not like it's just when two things come together at the same time and then they propel you to be a better version of yourself. I think that's what CodeSpace and all the work that I've been doing and asking myself, why am I stuck in these jobs? Only now it's like almost coming in full circle that no, this was preparing you. Like if CodeSpace came at another time, you wouldn't be this person that you are. You wouldn't be leveraging on all these skills that you picked up all this time while you thought you were wasting your life away in these jobs. So I think it has helped me very much in terms of, like she said, administratively. I'm balancing motherhood, competition, boot camp, so I don't think I would have been able to do all of that if I did not have my work experience or I didn't go through all the fire and hell and high waters
Mm.
that with the with the jobs that I did before. So I think that's just what has helped me. I think CodeSpace is just the stage where some of those skills that I've picked up are really shining through.
Yeah, that's really awesome to hear. That's something that we really try stress to our prospective students is that prior work experience in any field is actually so important when coming into the program. And then even after the program, we sometimes come across students who
Hmm.
don't include that prior experience on their CV post the boot camp because they think, well, now I'm trying to get into tech. I don't have tech experience. I'm
So
going to
it
just
doesn't
remove it from your
matter.
CV. And it's like, don't, like, keep it
Mm-hmm.
there. It's so valuable for your future employers, firstly, to know that you've held down a job and you've just got those skills. And Maseko, to your point, like communication skills are vital, even though, like, as a software developer, it's a very technical role. Kind of communicating and working within a team is just so it's critical.
Important.
Okay, great. So, yeah, what has been your favorite part of the experience so far? Maseko, let's start with you.
I think favorite part of the experience so far has been the competition.
Okay, so
Definitely,
you're talking about the KPN CodeSpace pitch challenge, just so
yeah.
yes.
That has been the highlight so far with CodeSpace for me. Like I said, prior to CodeSpace, you probably saw my video. I was also very awkward in my video when I was entering, like when I was applying for the scholarship. But what it has done for me is just literally help me with my confidence issues because I had serious self-esteem issues before coming onto CodeSpace and learning new things. I genuinely was convinced that my brain cannot learn anything anymore. Like my brain cells cannot absorb any more information. And coming to CodeSpace and that pitch challenge coming up at that time was literally, I don't know, a nudge for me to say none of that self-loathing and negative self-talk is true. Okay, there's bigger, there's better,
Mm-hmm.
and will recognize you for it. And that's what CodeSpace has done for me, like, and you guys have been so supportive as well, like from the project coordinators to the mentors to the admin people. Like everyone is involved and they're like literally pushing you
Mm-hmm.
to go for it. So if everybody else who doesn't know me, has never met me in person, is rooting for me, I was just there thinking, who am I to be against myself? So the only thing that would have stood that was standing in the way of me
Exactly.
making progress was me.
Yeah,
So I think
it's often
I
the
think
case.
I can, yeah, I can never stress enough how much CoSpace has literally helped me with my self-esteem issues.
That's really, really, that's lovely to hear.
Yeah.
Makadi, and you, your favorite part?
Mhm. My favorite part has been, which is it's not a huge part, but I don't know, seeing all the different projects that I complete every single week with that I know I can complete with the knowledge that I'm learning. So being given, even from the beginning, just the smallest design, but knowing that, oh my gosh, the things that I learned this week, by the end of the week, I'm going to be able to submit, that this tiny project or this bigger project, whatever, even the portfolio piece for the previous, what was it? Was it SDF? That was so, like, it was a long project, but by the time I submitted it, I was like, wow, I did that. I often go back to the project and I'm like, I did that. It's so gratifying to see. It's so rewarding that you thought you would never be able to go into coding, you thought you'd never be able to go into tech. It's so hard. You need to either do a 4-year degree or you need to do this expensive course. But then here I am actually doing CodeSpace because of Digiata, and then I'm completing these projects every week. I'm submitting and I'm seeing my work. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And on the flip side, what has been the most challenging part of the program and kind of how have you pushed through those really challenging times? Makadi, let's start with you again.
I would say the most challenging part for me is time management. I struggle a bit with time management, making sure that, for example, I start a project on time, making sure that, okay, even if it's due on Sunday, I have the whole week, but ensuring that, okay, this is a lot of code. You're not just going to be able to do it within one day. You have to start it bit by bit, at least start whenever, maybe Wednesday, and do an hour or two each day, something like that. I'm getting better. It's definitely better from when I started the program. And yeah, it's getting better every single day. So I think that would be what I've struggled with the most.
Great. Maseja?
With me, I would also say time management, and I'd also mention actually getting to the work before contact times, because unlike full-time students, they have two sessions. I only have one. So sometimes the session gets there and I haven't even gone through the work because of time management. And
Mm-hmm.
the other day, actually, I even had to message Rosa. I'm like, Rosa, I can't go into class right now. Please tell them I'm sick. I don't know. Tell them I can't make it because I wasn't prepared for the class. And I knew that Kieran said we were going to present like what we studied, and I was freaking out. But then she was like, you know what? Sometimes you're not gonna remember everything that you learned, and you've always shown up. So there's power in
Mm-hmm.
showing. So I try not to dwell on the things that I can't fix and just try and push on, because also it's a fast-paced environment, and like I have to give myself grace for learning something new in a short space of time. I remember also another challenging thing was familiarizing myself with GitHub, because my second project was not in the repository was not there, but I remember it being there, and I remember me submitting it, but then when they opened the link, it wasn't there. So I was getting a bit frustrated because I couldn't wrap my head around the new softwares and things that we had to use. But I booked a call. Rosa got me onto a call with Kieran already, and he assisted me to understand the concept around GitHub and show me alternative um, apps that I can use that do the same job. So it's been challenging, fun. It's crazy. It's a crazy journey.
Yeah, I think that there's also that those are both really, really good points to make, particularly, but not taking anything away from the part-time students who are often balancing work and studying, which is hectic. Maseja, you're balancing
And study.
motherhood with a very young baby and this. So, but the part-time, sorry, the full-time students in particular, it's very intensive. So, I think, yeah, as Mahadi, you're
Mm.
saying, like, kind of finding the time management skills that work for you, because everyone's got different ways of managing their time. But I think
Mm.
quickly finding what works for you is really a vital part of kind of thriving in the program. Okay, let's look at our questions. What is one thing that surprised you about learning to code? Both of you came in with no coding background. Yeah, what is the one thing that has kind of surprised you about this process and journey? Masika, do
I
you want to
think,
go first? Yeah.
yes. So I think for me, the most surprising thing about learning to code was actually not even like related to the code itself, but just how the skill of the one thing that I had that was my downfall was over preparing for something. Auditioning for a TED talk that's never gonna happen. So you'll watch long YouTube videos about JavaScript or long videos about HTML, but you're watching the video and not learning anything. But since I've gone into coding, what pushing code and learning new concepts has just taught me that you can't just learn one chunk of knowledge at one go. You literally need to take the first step towards learning certain things, and things are forever changing, but the a journey of 1,000 miles literally starts with a single step. So I think that's the one thing that surprised me about learning to code, because when you see other people who have done it for a very long time, it just seems like a walk in the park. They make it seem like they tell you it's difficult,
Mm.
but also the way they work in their job is just like they know everything that's required. But actually, everyone is on a learning journey. Even after you are done learning, you're still learning when you're working. So I think the one thing that surprised me is definitely taking the first step. Like just go and learn. You're not expected to know everything. You're
Mm,
expected to open your mind to learning,
mm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what surprised me the most about learning to code.
Khadi?
Um, Building on that, I definitely thought, like, I don't know, the thing that surprised me is realizing how doable it all is. I used to think it was this impossible thing that takes like 10 years to, well, not 10 years, but like so many years of studying. And even after that studying, you still, I don't know. I thought it was so unattainable. Like I thought I would never reach that level because those people seem so learned and they seem like before you go into that workplace, you have to know absolutely everything. And if you do, like, you have to know what every single tag does, what this does, what that, you have to know JavaScript, like front to back. You have to know every single thing before you can even be considered for a job. So that definitely surprised me that the small projects that we complete, what other resources that I look at, YouTube videos, whatever, other people's projects that I see and try to emulate, then I'm like, oh, like you don't have to know 100% of it. Like Mustafa said, you just have to be ready to learn. You have to be ready to practice. I used to think that if I learned the content just by reading it and, making notes, then I would be able to, then I'm coding. But no, practicing is what has really been helping me so far. So yeah, I learned it's difficult. It has a learning curve, but it's very doable. You can
True.
ask questions, there's resources. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super valuable. Like I was saying, I think for both of you, even, once you finish the boot camp, that's where, and in your first jobs, it's about learning how to learn programming. You're not going to know everything that's required of you in your first tech job, but you know how
Everything.
to
Hmm.
learn coding and you know how to, access the right resources that are available to you, ask the right questions, test, code, break it, test it, try again. Yeah, so those are both very, very valuable lessons. Okay, I think we are quickly running out of time, so I'm going to ask the last question. Um, what advice would you guys give to someone who is considering CodeSpace, considering applying for the scholarship that we've got on offer for next year, but isn't quite sure if this is the right program for them? What would you say to them? What advice? Khadi, do you want to go first?
No problem. I would definitely recommend the CodeSpace program for someone trying to break into tech. The resources are definitely like they're infinite. And one thing that has really helped me is the support. I have emailed my PCs, I don't know how many times. If you see my emails, I've emailed them so many times. I've emailed my coach. They are so helpful. Like one thing that has stood out for me so far in my journey is the support that I have received. The coaches, the PCs, they make sure that um, you know where you are. Like you're fine where you are. You're fine with the content. You're fine with practicing the project. Are you good to submit it? Are you going to be able to submit it on time? All of that, they help you with it. So I would definitely recommend CodeSpace to anyone trying to break into tech, trying to break into become a software developer. Digiata, very great scholarship. I was really stressing about that part of breaking into tech, the money, where am I going to come up with all that money to pay the fees needed? So Digiata really helped me out. So I would definitely recommend for people that are less fortunate, and not able to come up with that amount of money for upfront fees. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Sejo?
Yeah, so I'd also highly recommend CodeSpace to someone who's thinking of applying solely because one thing that has stood in between me and getting to where I need to is finances in terms of academics. And with CodeSpace and the payment plans, it has been so much manageable than any other program that I've seen online because it's like 40,000 Rand, 90,000 Rand, and you're like, I am trying to break into tech. I do not have a job. How am I going to come up with 45,000
Exactly.
for a course? So I would definitely highly recommend it to someone who's thinking of applying. I also just knew that tech is a booming field. When I would research online, there was just so many things going on online and people had so many opinions. But I think what this has done for me is just like sort of narrow it down and sort of show me the basics of what I want to get into and the endless opportunities that await me when I grow in the field. So I think that the scholarship is a very great initiative, and I pray that you know there's more funding opportunities and more people who want to sponsor CodeSpace so that people can have access. And I wish I knew about this a long time ago. I would have quit my job like a long time ago. And or I would have probably stayed at my job and also still learned because I see that there's also flexibility. Flexibility is such a huge thing for me, especially when I gave birth and I couldn't start with Bo Mahadi. I thought it was gone. I was like, okay, it's not gonna happen for me. But then arrangements, his support is amazing as well. So anyone that's scared to join CodeSpace and they're thinking they're gonna have to manage all these questions and anxieties alone, there's literally people dying to help you manage all of that. You know, shout out to Rosa. I mean, I'm a one person, so I've been speaking to Rosa throughout. She's been supportive throughout, and sometimes I even speak to her about things that aren't related to coding. And at no point was she ever short with me or rude. Especially after giving birth, she's been amazing. She's been like a sister, even. So I think I'd highly recommend CodeSpace. And like I said, I hope that there's more companies that are willing to sponsor people, that want to break into tech but just don't have the financial means to do it.
Mhm.
As I say, they think and care about you all deeply. So it's really great to hear your guys' feedback. But yeah, just thank you for your time this afternoon. Super nice to see you both and just to catch up and check in. Maseko, good luck. You've got another 10 months ahead of you. So is it 10 months? 10 or 10 months. So you've got a little way to go. But keep with it. Mahadi, you've got your last 2 months. I know you got some big projects coming up now, but yeah, keep going. You're doing super well. We're behind you once
Yeah.
again. But yeah, just really thank you for your time. I know
Mhm.
all our prospective students that are going to watch this video are really going to value hearing from you. And yeah, just thanks again. Good luck, guys. Lovely to see you both again, and keep well. All the best.